Dun, dun, dun! Hello, beautiful people. It is me, Robyn Carpenter Briscoe, your favorite spiritual life coach. And I am here for Illimitable Living Sessions with Robyn. And I have my wonderful friend Tony here with me today. I am so excited. I'm excited. I'm excited for a couple of reasons. One, I have deep and abiding love for him. So it's just exciting anytime I get to be around his fantasticness. And also, I'm excited because we're going to talk about my favorite, which is Lunar New Year. If you have been watching any of the things that I talk about, if you have looked at my Facebook page, if you've gotten on my Instagram, if you've done any of the Goddess of Joy places that you can find me, then you will know that although the calendar New Year is a nice thing, I am all about the Lunar New Year because our bodies are connected to the planets. And and the moon, like it's about the moon calendar. It's not about what some pope in the 16th century decided they were going to do with the calendar, because Caesar's calendar was 10 years off or something crazy. So instead of just listening to the people and going with the lunar calendar, because the moon does change, the sun is kind of the same all the time. What kind of moon you have is different, right? So, Tony, I am really grateful to be here, and I want you to tell people about you and some of the wonderful things that you are.
Oh, thank you so much, Robyn. You are just a bundle of energy, and I just love it. And just for what it's worth, I am a Libra double Scorpio.
Ooh.
And we'll be talking about, as you mentioned, the Chinese New Year. I mean, the Lunar New Year, and with the Chinese zodiac, I am Earth Monkey.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of goat I am. I don't know. I mean, I know I'm a goat, but I don't know what kind, or ram, depending. But I don't know what kind.
Yeah.
I need to find. Tell us more about you.
Yeah. So thanks again. My name is Tony Smith, as you know, and I am the founder and owner of Denver's Cupid. It is the only LGBTQ matchmaking service based in Denver. And I specialize in the art of matchmaking and the power of connection. And I am thrilled to be here today, but it is my joy to be a matchmaker, and it is certainly what I was born to do. I always say, Robyn, I got my start as a matchmaker because my mother threw so many Filipino disco parties growing up. And I saw the power, not just of Diana Ross and, Donna Summer, but actually it was just the power of my mother bringing people together and the joy it brings when people are together, they're dancing, they're eating. And so, but my mother had the gift of just simply bringing people together. And that's what I've always done. I've lived here in Denver since 2000, and I had a wonderful career at the Cherry Creek Arts Festival for 18 years. And in those 18 years, my job there was to bring 350,000 people together every single year.
And it's wonderful. It was wonderful. I enjoyed it so much, so often when I lived in Denver. So you did a good job.
Thank you so much. And it was all about bringing people together for new experiences, meeting new people, exploring art. And when you're exploring art, you're exploring yourself, So that was such a joy. And all those years allowed me to make so many connections throughout town. And then from there, I went on to run for Denver City Council in 2019. And in that time, my platform was connecting people to government. And the way you do that is you also have to have strong neighborhoods, so connecting each other to your neighbors. And so stronger neighborhoods make stronger communities, make a stronger country. Yeah. And after that election, I was very, very proud of myself. I earned nearly 3,000 votes.
Nice.
but I did not win the election. But it led me to create Denver's Cupid. And it was literally one morning, you know, I think I just believe in the way the universe whispers to us. She is a wonderful thing sometimes. Just like the universe said, she was like, you need to run for Denver City Council. I was like, okay, girl. And then the next time she spoke to me, and I think it's so important to listen to our intuition.
Yes.
The next thing she said was, you're a matchmaker? And I'm like, all right, girl, let me explore this. And in that exploration, Robyn, I found that I was going to just be the LGBTQ manager of a matchmaking company. Didn't exist.
Right.
And then also in the process, I've discovered that all communities throughout the centuries have had a matchmaker in their tribe.
Yes, absolutely.
And, you know, probably the one that we all are most familiar with is the culture of matchmaking in Eastern Indian culture. And so when I was exploring all these different cultures and matchmakers, I was like, wait a minute, no one's doing it for the LGBTQ community in Denver. And just like the universe whispered that I need to be a matchmaker, she said, okay, you're a Cupid and you're in Denver.
Right.
Cupid's a chubby little thing.
You're like, I'm going to take exception to that part.
But he's a boy. And I said, and most matchmakers happen to be women, because I think I strongly believe, you know, I love that we have more and more and more leaders in the world, you know, leading countries that are female, and I think it's because it's a dual energy of masculine and feminine energies, but it's empathy and strength, honey, you know. And so anyway, so the universe said, all right, Denver's Cupid.
I love it.
And here we are.
And here we are. So several things came to mind at the same time. One, the first I ever heard of matchmaker was actually in Fiddler on the Roof. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. So it was Jewish for me first, but now, holy crap, I'm like afraid to be addicted to that Netflix that Netflix series of reality show about the Indian matchmakers and stuff, because I get so like offended about things, you know, because there's a lot of judgment in it, right? Yeah, so you come at it from this place that's like all heart centered, which makes me much happier, you know, because it's much more about like what we can be together by coming together and doing that, which makes me think of Gildeptis. So Gildeptis is a Pacific Northwest goddess, and she brought together that, so the earth and the water were fighting, and so they were like having all of these problems keeping, you know, it was like, you know, the water was like, I'm more important than the earth, you know, and so the shoreline kept changing, and it was like destroying things, and so she invited them to join her at table together, and they got together for a dinner, and she got all of the elements to come together to be in harmony with one another. And that's why, you know, things are, you know, the way the earth is as harmonious as it is. And so I'm sure I'm telling that story really, really badly, and there's a much better way of version of it. However, I just loved that idea of you know, she's like Moana, you know, how Gildeptis looks like that, how Moana, you know, the when you look at the goddess, how it looks like, and she's all earth and all the things, and she's inviting you to come to the table so that you can all be one with one another. And when you're talking, that's how that sounded to me. And I love that idea, because I always say that it's the lesbian socialite in me, you know, that the best way to get people to see one another is to get them together. You know, especially if the only thing you have in common is me, then that's all you need. Because then we can, you know, it doesn't matter that you don't know people, because you know me, so that's all that matters. You don't need to know everybody else, because if you know me, you know everybody I know. And so that's essentially exactly what you're saying. It's like, don't worry, I got you, and I'm going to hold you in this kind of love space around it. So let's talk a little bit about, I found out I'm a fire goat.
A fire goat.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know what that means, so I'll really have to look that up. But what did you find out? So you're an earth monkey. Now, I don't know a lot about monkeys, but everything that, well, I don't know a lot about like Chinese, astrologically speaking. I don't know a lot about monkeys. However, the description of an earth monkey sounds a lot like, it sounds very, yes, as far as you are concerned, like they're small, and what's so funny about monkeys? They're really kind. Like, they do all kinds of wonderful small kindnesses for each other all the time. In strange, I mean, yes, that whole, like, cleaning each other and all those things. Except they share. It's like they're yeah, all the things. I love monkeys. I love to watch them. I love how and those older monkeys are, the ones with the wisdom. They would feel very earth monkey, like, like they're much more still, and telling the other monkeys what to do. So that sounds that sounds like you. Yeah.
Well, I am not as familiar with the Chinese zodiac as I am with, the traditional astrological signs, the Libra, double Scorpio. And I love that. So Libra is balance and harmony. And then I've discovered that, your rising sign is what you project out. And so I am a Scorpio rising. And so it's intense when I first meet people. I mean, I'm pretty extroverted. And then my moon is, how you interpret yourself on the inside, how you feel on the inside. And that too is Scorpio. And that too is intense. And my Libra is like, girl, y'all need to balance this stuff out, And then the other thing I've recently discovered, Robyn, and this is along the same lines of what we're talking about, is one of the events I've got coming up. So Denver's Cupid is personal matchmaking primarily. And then I also do a lot of events because I was just raised to bring people together, right? Right. One of the events I've got coming up is called the Love and Destiny Card Reading event.
Oh,
have you ever done love cards before?
So is this a specific kind of reading or a specific card? Like, is it a kind of like a love reading?
So yes, it is. So
they are tarot cards or oracle cards?
So they're actually a regular deck of playing cards.
Okay, right on. Like, that's a really traditional way of reading cards.
And Robyn, you're gonna just love this. So I'm working with her name is Nadia Michelle.
Okay.
And her company is Cards and Astrology, and it goes based on your birth date. And so she said, Tony, honey, you're gonna love this. I said, well, she goes, okay, your birthday is 9/25,
right?
And your card is the Queen of Hearts. And I was like, you're kidding. She goes, you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
This is it.
Yeah.
I love that. I do love that. And I love that. Okay, so as a spiritual life coach, often what I do is I get people when they're at the moment where they're changing, right? Where they're shifting from what they have been to what they're really about, because we're really good at becoming very professional and being proficient and successful at a path, right? So you get a degree in this, do this thing, get this promotion, blah, blah. Like, we're good at that kind of, success path. And what happens is we get to a point where we're really good at a thing, except that's not actually who we are. It's just what we do. And so I meet people at the, okay, so who are you point, and I help them get clarity around what's really important in their life, and how to create a life based on that. Like, what's really important to you? What do you really want? It's a question that is very difficult for people to usually answer. I say, what do you really want? And it's all external stuff, and it's all and that's if they can get to an answer. It's like, what do you really want? And they go, I don't know. I don't understand the question. It's this challenge, right? So I love that. So my favorite thing about Lunar New Year is that just like New Year, it like a calendar New Year, it's the beginning of something, right? However, unlike say it's just a new year, with specifically Chinese New Year, and then Vietnamese celebrate lunar. All the Asian cultures celebrate Lunar New Year, but in Chinese zodiac, they've gotten much more specific about the years in that elemental and feeling. What does it mean? And so I love that this is the year of the metal ox. Because, and I wanted to read it because I'm not going to remember it all. A metal ox it means that you are, there it is. I looked it up and then kept going. So the ox is like a Taurus, right? So determined, strong, hardworking. It signifies movement, but movement with purpose. Um, and then metal is, and if you think about metal, they're talking about like all metal, so jewelry and even needles. Like, holy crap, when they said that, I was like, that's a little scary. But then it was like, oh, needles, oh, you mean like vaccinations. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, there it is. Okay, so I loved that specificity because it helps you, like, focus more and more and more. And what I'm always telling people is the thing about the zodiac and anything we're getting, like you're talking about getting this card reading, right? This love and what'd you say? Love and what?
Love and destiny card reading.
Love and destiny. I love the word destiny. It means that you can be more fine-tuned for yourself, right? So I always tell people, your zodiac is really just another point of information. You look up your horoscope, or you do get an actual chart done. You get tarot read, you do all the things. All of those things are pieces of information that you use to help you
continue discovering,
create the life that you want, like creating your life, like how, anything that you do, it's always like, okay, well, I need to know that and I need to know that. And it's wisdom, right? It's wisdom for your journey, but you still have to decide what your journey is. So it's so beautiful how you did the thing and you're listening hardcore to that intuition in a way that most people don't do. The only one they listen to is the one going, everything's wrong with you. They don't listen to the other. So how do you get into that?
Yeah, I was going to say, so listening to your heart takes confidence, and it also takes, the journey of a lifetime of getting to know yourself and trusting that inner voice. So when Miss Universe decided to, that I was going to be a matchmaker, I was like, okay, I believe in myself and my life journey, and all those things led to each other. But the path that we each take is absolutely unique and beautiful, and that's why I believe that everything happens for a reason. And it was 3 relationships before I met my husband, but I kept repeating the same cycle. The universe was like, I'm gonna keep dealing you the same card until you learn. And my ultimate lesson, Robyn, in all of this has always been, and it was part of my platform in running for Denver City Council, and that was self-care. If you don't take care of yourself, No one's going to take care of you. And then there's a reason why, and on the camping trail and knocking on doors, I said, there's a reason why when you're in an airplane, they tell you to put your mask on first, because you've got to take care of yourself before you can take care of everyone else. And so that is also what I tell people in the dating process. It's a self-exploration process. And I'm like, honey, date often, because the more you test drive that car, you're going to learn, oh, I like leather, I like cloth, I like this automatic, I need a convertible. But you have to go through the motions to learn about yourself. And that's where your intuition comes from.
Yes.
And I work for people to believe in their intuition.
Okay, wait. So here I am. I'm a single gal in Denver. I'm a single lesbian gal in Denver. And I'm ready. I'm ready. I've decided I'm ready. And I hear about Tony, and I find you and I reach out to you, and walk me through it. Like, what happens? Like, how do I've never even, the whole matchmaker idea is something that I never did. Swiping and all of I've never done any of those things. So this is all new. So tell me, how would I get match made? How would I work with you? What's this process?
Thank you so much for asking. And the very first thing they need to do is go to denverscupid.com.
Right.
And explore the site, and especially what I call my Tony Festo. It's essentially my manifesto. It's my mission and values. Number one, just explore the website. But then there's also the ability to fill out a 100% free and 100% private profile. And there's no way that anyone can get on Denver's Cupid and look at profiles, because we have apps for that. There's no swiping left or right. This is all personal matchmaking. So they fill out a profile, and then they fill out their personal profile, their match preferences. They're like, I'm into these ethnicities, I'm into this age group, and all those things. And then that's when some of the magic starts happening. I start literally, remember when we were kids playing with dolls? I put two people together and I see them physically together. I see their personalities together. I see, how are they going to interact? And I also, as part of the process, if they want to take it further, so 100% free profile, right? Mm-hmm. If I have a paying client and I say, oh, you're a great catch. I said, I want to put you on a free date with my paying client because you're in my catch pool, if you will. So yeah. There's no cost to people if they're going on a date with a paying client. But if a paying client hires me, then I become their headhunter. So my 20 years of contacts of literally thousands of people in Denver are at your disposal. So you instantly expand your database. And if I don't have you in, like, as a friend on Facebook, on LinkedIn, or on Instagram, I ask friends of friends, like I've asked you, Robyn. I was like, hey, do you know any awesome single females that are over 45 and they're lesbian and da-da-da-da-da-da-da?
This is an actual question that has been asked.
Yeah, so I become your headhunter, but it's 100% private, and I've got a lot of dates happening this weekend. Oh, and the other thing that's really important, because of COVID, all the first dates are Zoom dates, and they're blind, so no one sees any pictures, any profiles. I said, just trust in the matchmaker, because there's going to, 100% of the time, Robyn, I'm so proud of this, 100% of the time, no one said, girl, what were you thinking? Not at all. It's like there's always a connection.
Right on. I love that. And so even if, I love this date often, because I'll tell you, I wrote a column once for those who are not familiar with my alter ego, the lesbian socialite. In Denver, I used to have a column before the lesbian socialite became something other than what it is now. It was a column in Denver, and I wrote one about that people needed to find a new word other than girlfriend. I started getting really worked up about how people didn't understand how to date. I was like, the whole point of going on dating is to meet people so that you can try people out to figure out how you match. And so if every time you start dating someone, you're calling them your girlfriend, you're creating some sort of relationship that's not there. And it started because I had someone who had broken up I had a friend of mine who had broken up after they had broken up after a really long time. And so when she started dating, each month I would see her and it would be like her girlfriend of the month kind of thing. It was like, dude, you got to come up with a new word because you're stating a relationship that doesn't exist yet, right? Like this is somebody you're trying out. So I love to hear you say date often because how are you going to know? Also, sometimes you can just meet someone that's just a cool somebody and that you just want to keep them in your life. Like I have plenty of people in my life that I would never, ever, ever be in a relationship with them and love them completely and totally. And I'm so glad that they're in my life. So I could imagine dating. I mean, there are a couple of people I sort of dated that I still have as friends, and it's only because we just dug each other and wanted to make sure that we stayed connected. So that must be an experience that I figure people probably have just by using what you have to offer.
Exactly. And so it's 100% safe. And that's the other thing that I love. Safe not only in the fact that you're COVID safe because you're at your own house, but you're also in your own house. So, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. But that also intimidates people. It's like, I don't have enough confidence because I'm afraid to get on a Zoom camera. And I'm like, girl, you got this. It's just you and the camera. And if you ever feel uncomfortable, just say, I'm not feeling comfortable and I need to leave. But that's never happened. But that's one way I say, hey, you have nothing to lose and everything.
And the best part is it's not out in public somewhere. Like I have never actually been on a blind date. However, I was always petrified of being on one because I think it takes way more courage to walk into some place, sit somewhere, and wait. I've been stood up. It wasn't, I knew who it was. It wasn't blind at the time. So I've been stood up, but I can't imagine like sitting in a place and waiting and hoping that someone's going to actually walk up to you if it's blind, right? Like it's like I'm the one with the red flower in my thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how petrifying that would be. So I think it's way easier to do this. You can make whatever you want. Like nobody has to know anything. They don't have to know what your pants look like. They don't have to know what your butt looks like. Like here.
So I actually, before each Zoom date, I give them what I call Denver's Cupid's Toolkit. It's what to do before, during, and after the date. And these are really, really important. Number one, you are going on a date, honey. So get ready and present your best self. And make sure you have a background, make sure you have things around you that say something about who you are. Be emotive to the camera because people are attracted to energy. And if you're all like this and you're wearing a dark turtleneck and you've got a dark background, I'm like, honey, you're going to be a floating head. But then also as part of the toolkit, because there's got to be an icebreaker. It's like the worst icebreaker question ever is, tell me about you. Right. That says nothing at all. So based on their profiles, I say, here's what you say when you click on the Zoom link. You're going to see each other for the first time. You simply say, hi, I'm Tony. I'm your blind date. And the other person says, I'm so-and-so. I'm your blind date. And then you say, here's the icebreaker question from Tony. And then it's something based on the two of them that gets them talking right away.
Right on.
And then you're like, oh, that's why he brought us together.
Right.
And then it's not just, and it's like not a yes, no question.
Right.
It's something you have to answer with thought. And it tells you a little bit about your heart.
This is exactly why you get a matchmaker. That right there, that experience right there is exactly why you get a matchmaker, because they've already thought about you. You've already thought about all the things. And not only have you put somebody together that you think, I think you guys will vibe. Also, you've given them all of this like help, because socially awkward is really not helpful when you're like trying to get to know someone, right? And you start getting really self-conscious. So even if under normal circumstances you're all like sparkly and fantastic, the minute that's put in this, it's artificial, right? It's an artificial to get, it's not, or doesn't or come together organically. You give them the like, oh, okay, I can just not even have to think about this yet, and I can just ask the question, and it just goes. And I
Yeah,
think that would be brilliant. I think that would be brilliant. This is see, I love it. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. It doesn't surprise me at all that you are creating this and making this happen, and that people are finding connection because of who you are.
thank you.
I'm
You
so grateful that you did this with me. I'm grateful that you were doing this for people in Denver. I am grateful that all those queers in Denver are getting you as the person that's going to help love them through loving themselves and finding love with one another.
Thank you. And my goal is for people to find love, because I strongly believe, and it's all over my website, and that's everyone deserves love, because we in the queer community have not been able to say that our entire lives. A lot of us, led some challenging upbringing where being queer is not cool. But that's why I feel everyone deserves love, and it's a confidence thing. And I'm just, so grateful to bring people together, and it's certainly my calling in the universe.
You are the queen of hearts. I'm sorry, but that is just so funny. Like that is like, it's just
The crown. Just kidding.
you do. I don't know. I kind of feel like you need a T-shirt that says the Queen of Hearts. Denver stupid. I don't know. I'm feeling a thing. There's a thing happening here. All right. Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you. So it's denverscupid.com is how they're going to find you. And we will have to keep going. We'll have to keep having a little more conversation about things so we can see how things have blossomed.
Absolutely, and I want to feature you at a future Denver's Cupid event, and we can talk about your favorite spiritual life.
Oh, yes. Well, I can say for sure that part of the whole point of this session, these things, is about living an illimitable life. And a liminal life means a life without limits. And a life without limits means abundance of all things. And abundance of all things absolutely includes love. And it starts with the first principle of joy, which is love yourself. So if I have abundant love for self, I can have abundant love for others, and we can have abundant love as a community, as a collective, as a whole, consciousness. And so I can talk about love all day with all kinds of people, and absolutely about the understanding that it's an energetic thing. It's not bullshit, and it's not, especially since we're talking about, I think today is technically called Palentine's Day, right? Because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I believe, if I remember correctly, because I thought I was feeling away when it was like February 13th, or I mean, it was like Friday the 13th, and it was Valentine's Day. I was like, I don't know, that sounds kind of terrible. But if I remember correctly, Palentine's Day is the day before Valentine's Day, and it's about celebrating friendships. And and I'm like, okay, so we need a Me-entine's Day, or I don't know, it's something about celebrating my love for self day. I don't know if there already exists, and if not, we need to make one.
Well, I call that my birthday.
Yes.
And that's something that's so important to me. Every single morning I wake up, I go on Facebook, and everyone that's got a birthday, I send them a birthday, because I'm a middle kid and I have middle kid syndrome to this day. Just kidding. But I want, and that's about attention. And I think everyone needs to feel loved. And I feel like if there's one day that's your me day, that's definitely your birthday.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's it. Our day of love for self. I'm gonna do that every time. I like it. Every time I talk about birthdays, it's really about a day celebrating love for self. So be on notice if you get a word, if you get a message. It's about love for self. I love that. It's important, and people I receive a lot of birthday messages from people, and I'm very grateful for it. when I receive every one of them, because people are paying attention and taking time and doing things. And I am intermittently good at that. I'll be really good at it, and then I get distracted, and then I'll be like, I haven't said happy birthday to anybody, and I know I've had plenty of friends with birthdays, so it's good. I'm glad that you do that as a practice. That is a beautiful practice to end this time together with. If you don't do anything today, then get on Facebook or get on your calendar or whatever, and help someone celebrate love for them by wishing them a happy birthday. And if you are a Denver queer that is interested in having love in your life, a single Denver queer, I should say, then get on denverscupid.com and find Tony and read that Tony Festo and find out all the ways that you can get more love in your life, because that is definitely part of illimitable living. Thank you, my friend. I'm grateful, grateful.
Robyn.
Thanks for being here, guys. Remember, you are illimitable. So go out and create a life that rocks. I'll see you next week. Bye.